Hey guys, so I'm here to do the Game of Thrones tag. This was created by Books and Looks, whose video I'll link down below. I was not tagged by them, but I just liked the questions and felt like doing it, and it's a Saturday evening, and I felt like doing a fun video, so, um, yeah. Anyway, right to the tag. Question 1 is, how did you discover the book series slash books? So, I think a lot of friends of mine were into Game of Thrones when the first season was coming out in our senior year of high school, and I think I kind of avoided watching it because I think I had this like sort of hipster phase where I was like, oh well, it's popular, half-hearted hipster phase, where I sort of was like, oh well, it's popular. I don't think so, and but then a friend of mine who watched it and was a big fan of it started to live with me in my first year of college, and he kind of convinced me, and I broke down and watched it, and watched the first two seasons, binge watched the first two seasons, and then decided that before the third season came out, I was gonna read all the books, and so I kind of read them in a combination of audiobook and print book, sometimes reading them simultaneously, sometimes switching back and forth, but yeah. So that's how I came to them. Question 2: who's your all-time favorite character? Um, Daenerys, based on the books more than the show. I think in the books she's a really compelling character, or a really interesting character. Just her character arc of going from this scared little girl to slowly to a kind of hardened leader, and then kind of from there the insights into her psyche and her the kind of tension between wanting to be a strong leader but also not wanting to become her father is just a really interesting to see in the books, and we don't get so much of it in the show. In the show, she's pretty one dimensional. They tried to include a little bit of the dabbling in her father's madness with the burning down the whole city and stuff, but mostly she's just a good guy in the show, sort of. So yeah. Number 3, favorite side character, the Hound. Especially in light of the first episode of the current season, I just think he's the most interesting side character. One of the most interesting characters overall, with how he started out and where he's kind of going. Um, yeah, the Hound. Question 4: if given the opportunity, which character would you choke to death? Uh, Euron. Yeah, yeah. The role of Cersei at least has an actress I like, and had the one redeeming quality for a while. And you could maybe pity her with some of the things that have happened in her life. Not so much, but with Euron, it's just kind of like he's just a huge asshole. So yeah. Um, question 5. Question 5. If you're a man or a woman of the Night's Watch, um, who would you break your oath of chastity for? Um, it's an uncomfortable question, but I'll just have to go with my gut reaction, which is Marjorie Tyrell. Mainly because Natalie Dormer. Anyway. Question 6. Dragon or direwolf, which would you rather have by your side? Rather than either, I think I would rather have either a giant black panther or or since those don't exist in the world of Game of Thrones, I will say a cage full of Ramsay's hounds. Yeah, place to throw my enemies if I want to. Yeah, I think I prefer that over a dragon or a direwolf. But I guess the closest I get to that, if you really wanted to force me to answer the question, would be a direwolf. Um, Number 7, which character would you most like to portray on television? In terms of who I'm most similar to, probably Samwell. You know, I'm a huge coward. I have my nose in a book all the time. That's why I'm on BookTube. I'm timid like him. Uh, shy like him. So yeah. But in terms of who I want to play, because I find their role interesting, I would go again with Daenerys, even though she's a woman. I still find her role very interesting. Um, so where am I? Number 8. What is your favorite moment of the book slash series? I can't pick a favorite moment. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Weird question for me. I don't know if I can, but in the books, when I reread the second book, I really was struck by the visions in Karth that Dany had. It was interesting to see those visions played out in the subsequent books. So maybe that. Um, the Red Wedding that moment in the books when I first read it that moment will stick with me for the rest of my life. I can't say I like that moment, of course, but it was it's just that book is probably the strongest of the 5 so far, and just the way that scene sneaks up on you is brilliant. So yeah. Um, Number 9. Who do you think deserves to sit on the Iron Throne by the end of the series? I'm going to say Sansa. Based both on the book and the show, I think we're seeing that she's learning from she's learning to play Littlefinger's game. And so I think she will be a good combination of that ruthlessness you need to rule, but I also think that her old sense of justice, kind of that little girl who really loved the knights in shining armor and things like that, I think she did retain some of that character in her, so I think she would also be a just and fair ruler, but would also be able to get shit done, and wouldn't be as hesitant as her father was to just do what really needed to be done to preserve the peace, even if it might be a bit distasteful. Um, yeah, and number 10, what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming book slash season? Really looking forward to how Arya and if Arya and Sansa have a reunion, I'm really looking forward to how that will go because they both changed so much. I can imagine it being a little bit weird for them both, because they have both changed so much. And also, if there's a reunion between Sansa and Tyrion, that'll be interesting. Interesting and probably pretty awkward too. Um, and then how Cersei's army is gonna fight Dany's army. I'm assuming at some point, and how that's gonna go because I don't see Cersei as having much military finesse, and how she's gonna come up with some kind of a strategy to fight Dany because Dany has such a huge army and dragons. So, or whether she will. So that'll be interesting. So that's the entire tag. Anyone who's interested in Game of Thrones, I would love to hear. But yeah, anyway, I'll be hosting a book review tomorrow, so watch out for that. Thanks, guys. Bye.